everybody, it is Blonde Blitz time. Let's go.
He's had, but I still like the Commanders.
I'm also tough.
DeMar Chase. I'm looking at that Cincinnati team against the Cleveland Browns.
Well, as soon as I saw the rain last night, I was wondering if that might be a little bit of a factor as well.
How we play that week is really going to be more impacted.
With the Raiders, who got Jacoby Myers back.
The same thing with Joe Burrow. You just expect Joe Burrow to do it because he's been to a Super Bowl.
It's time to send in the blitz with Deb Whitcas and the Blonde Blitz.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blonde Blitz. I'm your host, Deb Whitcas. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Week 12 is a memory, and Week 13 football is here. That also means that this is the second annual The Blonde Blitz Friendsgiving Day show. I have been waiting for this all year. Today, I'll be joined by some of the top NFL reporters, hosts, and content creators in the biz, who also happen to be my friends, of course, too. First off, we've got Erin Coscarelli. She's the host of Believe in Rams, and I see her weekly at the Rams practice facility. Kiana Williams, Eagles content creator. She is also my social media guru. Would not be able to do it without her. Danielle Cruz, sports TV producer, repping her team, the Patriots, who are doing amazing. Brian Snow from Snowman in the Morning, talking San Francisco and the Colts. We've got Ryan Anderson from the Los Angeles Football Network, LAFB, of course, discussing the Chargers. Daniel Behan, content creator and writer for the Giants, also former producer for the Blonde Blitz. It's so good to have him back. I can't wait to talk with him. And finally, Hammer from Raider News Nation. He is repping the Raiders. We'll talk all about hot takes from Week 12 and chat about playoff standings. Also on today's show, we've got sports comedian and huge Steelers fan, Frank Nicotero. He is here for Week 12 Funny. Chef V, private chef to the NFL athletes, gives us a healthy twist to Thanksgiving food that she makes for her NFL clients. I had a chance to talk to Jared Verse and the Rams rookies during their Season of Giving campaign that helped put food on the table for those in need this Thanksgiving. We'll take a look at that. And as usual, sports betting expert Alex White is here for your best bet for Week 13, along with fantasy expert Ballers Meg. Intuitive Reader 333 Ask Carrie looks at her power deck for the Eagles versus Chicago game. And finally, unfortunately, Ben Troupe, former tight end for the Bucs, he did have a family emergency today and had to cancel. But Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy is here. He is going to help me with Week 13 game picks. Ben, positive vibes being sent to you and your family this evening. All right, guys, let's get it all started. Here's headlines.
Now to Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz headlines.
Week 12 delivered tight finishes, major performances, and several teams gaining late season momentum. 10 games were decided in the fourth quarter, with Dallas, Kansas City, and Detroit all winning on late drives or overtime touchdowns. Detroit's Jahmyr Gibbs stole the show, piling up 264 scrimmage yards and 3 touchdowns, including the 69-yard walk-off run that kept the Lions atop the NFC North. Cleveland continued its defensive surge as Myles Garrett posted 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles, pushing the Browns to 8-4 and keeping their top 5 defensive ranking intact. In Dallas, Dak Prescott threw for 354 yards to become the Cowboys' all-time leader in passing yards, while Jackson Smith-Njigba delivered another breakout game with 167 yards and 2 scores for Seattle. Patrick Mahomes helped Kansas City erase a 10-point fourth quarter deficit to beat Tampa Bay, marking the Chiefs' third straight comeback win. Off the field, the league announced that Panthers safety Trevon Moehrig had been suspended 1 game for unsportsmanlike conduct after punching 49ers wide receiver Jawan Jennings during Monday Night Football. All right, guys, let's move on to AFC, NFC Players of the Week. NFC first, on the offense, Jahmyr Gibbs of the Lions, 264 yards and 3 touchdowns, including the 69-yard overtime winner. On defense, J.R. Brown of the 49ers, 2 interceptions, and 5 tackles. And special teams, Zane Gonzalez of the Falcons, 3 field goals, 56, 41, 54, the only NFC kicker with multiple 50-plus yard makes. We've gone to AFC Players of the Week. On the offense, we've got Kareem Hunt of the Chiefs, 130 yards and a touchdown in Kansas City's comeback win. On the defense, we've got Myles Garrett of the Browns, 3 sacks, 4 tackle for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. And finally, special teams, Andy Borales of the Patriots, 4 for 4 on field goals, including a 52-yarder. All right, guys, those are your headlines for this week, week number 12. All right, guys, it is Friendsgiving here on the Blonde Blitz, and joining me today are some of the top NFL reporters, hosts, and content creators in the biz. We'll start off with Erin Coscarelli. She is the host of Believe in Rams. Kiana Williams is an Eagles content creator. Danielle Cruz, sports TV producer. She is repping her Patriots. Brian Snow from Snowman in the Morning, talking San Francisco and the Colts, and I'm also going to have him talk about the Raiders. Ryan Anderson from Los Angeles Football Network, LFB, discussing the Chargers. Daniel Behan is a content creator and writer for the Giants, and we'll see if Hammer from Raider News Nation pops on. All right, guys, they're all here to do hot takes and have a little NFL coffee talk. Let's go.
Next caller is Deb Whitcas, who says she has some really hot takes.
All right, good. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
What's going on? Hello. It's so nice to see all my friends. I look on, I see all your smiling faces. How is everybody?
Doing great. Good. How are you?
So good.
Really good.
Well, my wife made like homemade cranberry sauce, and I kind of ate it.
I have coffee because that's what
coffee.
this is.
I may have a cocktail down here.
real life good, football bad.
Right. Talk about that.
Hey,
Dad.
football good for me in this household.
Yeah, not really. Right? Well, actually, Brian, we'll start with you. I don't think Hammer is here, so I wanted to talk about the Raiders. Probably the biggest thing that came out this week. They fired OC Chip Kelly, who Kiana and I hate from his Eagles days. Brian, do you think this will hurt or help? And was he the right person to fire?
Yeah, Chip Kelly, you saw what he did with the Eagles, you saw what he did with the 49ers, and then you saw what he did with the Raiders. 3 big fat L's, as I often play on my no, he was not the choice. No, just plain, how does my wife put it? Just no.
I love it. Well, and Dan, going to you, the Giants, who are 2-10. I know you said, football bad, Thanksgiving good. They recently fired head coach Brian Daboll. I've been wanting to fire him for years.
As long as I've known you, you actually wanted Dabes to be fired. And I'm like, no, Deb, he's actually not that bad. And then, all right, you're right, I'm wrong. Great offensive mind, not a great head coach. So, yeah.
Here's my question to you. Do you think it was the correct move in the middle of the season when he's so connected to franchise quarterback Jackson Dart? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I think ultimately, because it was at the end of the day, it was more of him trying to keep his job than the health of Jackson Dart, who's still in concussion protocol as of Wednesday of recording. So I think with Jackson Dart, as we've all seen, I'm not sure if anybody has watched more of Jackson Dart than I have, but it seems like he has it, and I think he's going to be able to be coached pretty much by anyone because the talent is there, and if the coach is understanding what kind of talent that Jackson has, I mean, a good franchise would realize what the player has and build around the player and not specifically the coach. So I'm praying the next head coach is going to be able to either the offensive coordinator, if the new coach is a defensive-minded guy, or an offensive-minded head coach can have him gel with him and become that star quarterback that his aura has it. It's just we have to get everything together for him to be that star quarterback.
Could I interest you in a Jesse Minter as a head coach?
That's one of the names. That was one of the names.
And I also have a name too, Chris Shula. He's the current DC for the Rams. And Aaron, you are a beat reporter for the Rams, I believe in Rams. You've interviewed Chris several times. I've seen you do it. What are your thoughts on him being the head coach?
You know, I have my thoughts and then I have reality. I think it's interesting. I mean, because of course it's a hard opportunity to pass by. But if you think about it, right, Chris Shula is a defensive minded coach. He would be brought in to, like you said, sort of develop a Jackson Dart, change the culture there. And he really seems to like his post in Los Angeles. This is his second year as a defensive coordinator. Let's not forget he had to deal with an Aaron Donald-less defense last year. And now the team, I want to say they're either first or second in scoring defense behind Houston. So to me, it's got to be a really great opportunity for Chris Shula, who we all know is a grandson of legendary NFL's winningest coach, and Don Shula. And he's happy there. He's been in LA since 2017. He's besties with Sean McVay. I really don't feel like I see that one. I mean, you have to be so quick to deliver wins and losses, in that winning record. And I don't know. I just don't think he'd be willing to leave LA for that.
That's fair. That he was one of the hotter names. He's a part of the McVay tree, so that's the hottest name on the block. He's they claim that he's up there with Minter, McCarthy, all guys that are like, oh, okay. There isn't I'm running to the table if I was the general manager to I want that guy pounding the table. And then I text Deb the other night when I kept on seeing Shula. I'm like, all right, you've talked to him before. What do you think? And she basically said the same exact thing you said, that he would be good for the right situation. Would the big lights in New York and New Jersey fit him? We don't know. But him being the best friend, wasn't he roommates with McVay?
They went to college together. And the other thing is, and Deb knows this because she's at practice, the media compared to New York here in Los Angeles, it's so different.
So different.
And the pressure and the way he, I just can't picture him. His family loves it here in Los Angeles. By the way, I'm in Orange County. I'm sitting on my aunt's carpeted floor, and I have to just be honest, dinner is coming up soon. I literally might only have another certain amount of time, but Deb is so blessed to get me on, so I apologize. I might have to dip out, but I think it's a great point. It's certainly a great point.
It's pretty simple. Dear Chris Shula, don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Well, Aaron, let's talk a little bit about the Rams. I mean, 9-2.
Yeah, let's talk about the Rams, not about the Giants.
Right. Best record in the NFC, dominated the Bucs 34-7. Are we looking at a Super Bowl team here?
Yeah, it's hard not to think that if you're thinking Super Bowl contender, that the Rams are doing everything right. I mean, let's take a look even at the special teams situation. The kicker in Josh Carty, immediately they gave him enough chances. They're like, okay, we're going to bring in Harrison Mavis to compete. They're keeping Josh Carty on the roster, it's not even just the fact that they're making moves to sort of shore up issues that they have, whether it was special teams. Look at the situation that happened in Baltimore. Puka's out. What does Sean McVay do? He develops 13 personnel and then crushes it. It's not just the stats, it's the culture, it's the system, and amazing storylines out of LA. Emmanuel Forbes Jr. You just have guys that are coming out of the woodworks that other teams have gotten rid of. Nate Landman as another one who just signed a 3-year, $22.5 million. I see my co-host. I see my co-host nodding over there as well. And I just think that it's my guy Rye. I just think it's all sort of working things out in terms of culture, talent, evaluation of said talent, and then that's obviously translating to wins.
Awesome. And also, Matthew Stafford's having a killer season,
MVP.
one of his best. Are we thinking MVP talks there, right?
Yeah. I think when you have 30 passing touchdowns, you lead the league in passing touchdowns to 2 interceptions. It's hard not to argue why that guy is delivering. And the cooler part, which you guys have all known, is he wasn't even available during training camp.
Yep.
None of the guys that are on
injury.
the offense. Yeah. So it's hard not to argue that he is leading the way.
Right. And Ryan, we'll talk to you a little bit too, as your co-host. What are your thoughts on the Rams this season?
Yeah, I mean, they've really emerged. The adjustments that they've made this season, early on, it didn't look like it was going to be this dominant. They were sputtering and special teams mistakes all over the place, losing to the 49ers, banged up 49ers, Kendrick Bourne looking phenomenal in that game. They make a couple of adjustments, and especially on offense, and it really just opens everything up.
Mm-hmm.
And on defensive side, they're playing with such an amazing confidence that, to what Aaron was saying, those DBs, Kobe Durant, who's a 4th round pick, Darius Williams, nobody was really expecting much from him. Emmanuel Forbes, a cast off from the Commanders, just playing lights out football right now, and playing historic levels of on both sides, efficient football. You look at DVOA right now, Aaron Schatz put out, there's only 5 teams out there that have put up the stats and the numbers through DVOA that the Rams have so far this season. It's a really historic pace. Matthew Stafford playing lights out, just really incredible and fun to see. What's that?
I said Puka Nacua too, playing lights out. Devontae Adams, lights out.
Puka Nacua is getting overshadowed right now because Matthew Stafford's playing so well. Right. Puka Nacua, every week, he's just doing 3 or 4 things that just blow my mind. And you want to compare earlier on the season to right now, he's in a proper role as a wide receiver. Before he was just being peppered over and over again. He got hurt. That was not a surprise. He's now in a proper role where he can shine, just being who he is, catching those insane sidelines catches, catching on the run, finding space in the middle of the field. Like it's incredible this year.
Absolutely. Well, I want to go to another team that's doing pretty well. Aaron, if you need to go ahead. Happy Thanksgiving. And
love you guys. Also, the comments on YouTube are amazing. Someone's posting 6-7. Like, I can't.
Yes.
Please have me back. I love you guys. This is so much fun. Please.
I love you. I'll
nice
see you on Friday.
Okay. Yes. See you Friday, Deb. Bye, you guys. Bye, Rye.
Bye.
Talking about another NFC contender, the Eagles. Kiana, they lost to Dallas 24-21 after being up 21 points.
How?
Yes.
Just how?
Oh, so much went wrong. I think a lot of people point at the play caller, and I do think Kevin Patullo is an issue, but I think one thing that people don't look at with the Eagles this year is that the offensive line is not as dominant as it was in 2024. And it starts with the injuries. You've had Lane Johnson miss time. You've had Landon Dickerson miss time. You've had Cam Jurgens miss time. And Cam Jurgens isn't even playing fully healthy right now. He's out there hurt. So they're not run blocking effectively as they used to. And one strength with the 2 Super Bowl runs in 2022 and 2024 is that they could get a lead. They could bleed out the clock, run the ball, but they are not able to do that. And had they been able to do that against Dallas, they probably would have held on to win. But it's also penalties, especially on the offensive line. They're holding, they're false starting, they're turning 20-yard gains into 1st and 20. So that's been a nightmare for them and a big reason as to why they let it go.
Right. And I think also, too, I mean, I could not believe they went for it on that 4th, that last possession.
Neither.
They absolutely should have kicked that field goal. It's like, stop it with the glitz, right? It's like, just play football. And it also didn't help that Elliott missed that field goal. What do you think needs to change? I mean, do you think, is it Jalen Hurts a problem? AJ Brown? Like, how can they fix this? I mean, and also too, like we're 8-3. The Eagles are 8-3.
Yeah, it's weird talking about fixing an 8-3 team, right? Especially just coming off a Super Bowl win, right? It's strange.
So.
It's tough because if you look at Jalen Hurts statistically, he's actually having a really good season. His total touchdown to turnover ratio is spectacular. the main issue is just the inconsistency in the running game. And I think that it's clearly showing that even though the O-line's having trouble run blocking, Barkley, he's wearing that 2K plus yard season, and it's showing. I think you may be mixing a bit more Tank Bigsby carries, not a lot, but some, because Tank is more of a downhill runner. You mix that in, that takes a bit of pressure off Barkley. And they found a way to scheme AJ Brown open over the last couple games. Just have to keep doing that. But they need to use Dallas Goedert more too, I think.
Yeah, I love Goddard. I actually had him on my fantasy last year, and I don't think they used him enough either.
No.
All right, well, let's move on to Brian. The Colts. It's another team that's 8-3 right now. They're the number one in the AFC South right now. Daniel Jones resurgence after the Giants, and running back Jonathan Taylor. Brian, if you had to pick one, JT or Barkley?
Taylor.
Really?
I'm going with Taylor. I'm going with Taylor. Give you two reasons. One, he's having a resurgence, i.e., what Barkley had last year when he first joined the Philadelphia Eagles. And secondly, the Colts want to beat you up.
Mm-hmm.
They want to beat you up and they want to beat you down, and they've established that culture, and they have the man to do that now. Remember all the great running backs the Colts had, over time, Edgerrin James being one. He's Hall of Famer. They had a couple of others. And they now have that workhorse running back in Jonathan Taylor, and they have adopted that mentality, especially bringing Daniel Jones over from New York, basically. And they say, look, here's the offense. We're going to let you shine, but we want to run the ball also. It's a carbon copy of a few other teams. So I love you, Saquon Barkley, but this year it's all about Jonathan. It's all about Jonathan Taylor. And even though he's had a couple of bad games, Pittsburgh being one, Kansas City being another, if you want proof of how valuable Jonathan Taylor is to his offense, look at the second half of last week against Kansas City. He couldn't run the football at all. And since he couldn't run the football and the Kansas City Chiefs figured it out, that's why the Colts lost in overtime. I'm glad it took overtime. It doesn't soothe the hurt anymore, especially when my wife was going off about it. But at the same time, I would trust Jonathan Taylor right now. And it was said earlier, the Eagles' run blocking scheme is inconsistent at best. It's inconsistent because if you look at how consistent they were last year, Saquon Barkley had 200-yard games. And he had 2,000-yard season. Jonathan Taylor is on his way to that kind of season, and he already has one 200-yard game.
Right. How far do you see the Colts going in the playoffs?
AFC Championship.
Okay.
More than likely, we're going to have to travel to New England. That's because New England has 2 games in hand because we just got off of our bye, and we trail. In one game now, Denver 9-2, New England 10-2, Colts are 8-3. But I think the Colts save Week 16, and I'll talk about that on my show after we get back from Thanksgiving. The Colts can run. They can run the table. As long as they run the football, they're going to be fine.
Dan, real quick, how do you feel seeing Daniel Jones dominating with the Colts when he absolutely bombed with the Giants? I've been meaning to ask you this question.
It's
the culture.
It's definitely the culture.
It's the culture. It's the culture.
Sorry, finish what you're going to say, and I'll take it back.
It's the culture, man. There's not much there. Think about it. There's a ton of pressure on Daniel Jones because he played with the Giants, because he was so highly drafted out of Duke University. I had a chance to see him play in his final bowl game when he was with Duke. But the pressure that was on Daniel Jones to turn into Phil Simms or Jeff Hostetler or Eli Manning, for God's sakes, was off the charts. And they didn't let him develop, nor did they want him to develop. They wanted to run him out of town even after a playoff season.
But not after the playoff season, because we gave him that big contract.
Yeah.
I think it was last year he was dead man walking after coming back from a knee injury because they knew they had the out, and then everything went to haywire with Daniel Jones.
Right.
I think with Daniel Jones, it was the combination of him not being able to have King Jalen. I was so scared. Daniel. Yeah, probably. But all jokes aside,
there's no lie in that. There's no lie in that statement. Jalen Hurts wins 2 Super Bowl titles, and then Daniel Jones sinks through a sinkhole.
Right.
You
So
can't lie there.
I think the combination of his injuries were a huge factor to what the development hurt him with the neck injuries and then the knee injury. He always showed up. He was always an ultimate professional and teammate. So in that regard, I'm happy for him. But at the same time, here we go again, especially after watching Saquon do what he did last year. But it's a different feeling because obviously Saquon's staying in the division and like just being on your biggest rival. Where Daniel Jones, he's in the good for him and hope nothing but the best for him. But if he was to not win a Super Bowl, I wouldn't be upset about it at the same time.
Yeah, it's gonna. He's a building block for them.
And the interesting thing with Daniel Jones is this is very like carbon copy with a better line than what the Giants did with Daboll in 22. How are the Colts going to reciprocate on either re-signing him or what team's going to try to take that risk again? And do they make that smart move? One of those few moves that Joe Shane actually did right with the out after the 3rd year of his big contract.
Well, that's
the real thing about Daniel Jones.
They already did part of it. They already did part of it. AD Mitchell's out of there.
Right. Yeah.
So you take what he left on the table and you pack it away, and you save it for the year that they have to re-sign Daniel Jones. So they already did part of that.
All right, guys. So we're going to switch to the Chargers just because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
But want to make sure I get everybody in here. We can talk ball for like hours. Ryan, did you expect more from the Chargers, Harbaugh or Herbert this season? And do you think they still have a chance to overtake the Broncos, and why?
Well, I'll take the first question. The second question first and say no. They're not overtaking the Broncos. There's too many fundamental flaws on this team. In terms of expecting what my expectations were for this team was built and designed and planned, and the whole ethos is the offensive and defensive lines.
Yep.
The offensive line is built just fine. They just fell apart. You can't lose Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt in the same season with Justin Herbert under pressure, up to 70% of snaps in some games, and expect to win football games. And I am a little disappointed in John Harbaugh in coming out after his quarterback is getting drilled over and over again against the Jags and says, this guy's still a monster. This guy's still a beast. Come on, man. Get with the program. We're not enjoying watching this. This is a bad product that you're putting out on the field. Are they a playoff team? I think they've done enough. You look at some of those losses early on, and you think, oh, man, losing to the Giants and to the Commanders, you can't have that.
Losing to the Giants. Yikes.
The Eagles
to be fair, that was the Jackson Dart debut, so there was a lot of juice.
Yeah, true.
A lot of juice, but
give you that.
Still, this should be a professional football team that should be able to take care of business. And you look ahead to the schedule. You look ahead: Raiders, Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Houston, and Denver. Now they should beat the Raiders, but you've got all the rest of them are top 15 pass rush defenses, including the Broncos, including Houston, who are top 10, top 5, definitely.
I thought I'd never say that again after the orange shirt years at old Mile High Stadium about the Broncos being a top 15 pass rush, but this Broncos team gets after you.
Yeah. So, there's just a handful of games left. They have to win 3 of these to get into the playoffs. So that's their best hope right there. And like I was saying, Jesse Minter is a head coaching candidate for a reason. And the Chargers defense is playing good ball, but they didn't invest in the defensive line in a smart way. They let Poona Ford walk out the door. That turned the Rams defense into a top 10 run defense. And Tierra Tart's doing fine. They're getting Otito Ogbanya back, but it's not enough. And what this team is built around, the identity of this team, what Harbaugh preaches at every one of his stops has always been offensive line first. And it's not there right now. And the guys that they have there are truly, truly terrible. We're going to see some of the worst offensive line play in week 13 when they take on the Raiders. They're both terrible. Tune in if you hate yourself, I guess.
I will give this to Deb in advance. I can make that a glass game on our picks on our show in advance if you want it that way. And I'm thinking that way.
Probably we will do that. But okay, Danielle. Well, a team that isn't terrible at all are the Patriots. They are now 10-2. They lead the league right now. Danielle, did you see this coming? How excited are Patriots fans? And yeah, I mean, is Drake May the real deal here?
Well, I did not see this coming in terms of 10 wins, leading the league, all that. I thought they would have a nice jump this year.
Right.
I put them in the 7 to 10 range. You know, like, getting a culture shift, having Vrabel in, having McDaniels in, going from, you know, Alex Van Pelt and Gerard Mayo, who's completely overmatched, to two guys that really know what they're doing, are culture changers. I thought that would get them a few wins. We kind of saw what Drake May did last season in terms of, you really love his footwork. He could make all the throws. He had all the physical tools. He just, you know, we didn't have skill players performing. The line was atrocious. You know, it was an absolute mess. He was running for his life. So I expected a better team. I did not expect this. It's kind of like, you know, we're playing with house money. You know, it's like walking to the casino and pulling, you know, 10,000 on the first pull. So I have a smile on my face from here to the end of the season.
If there's anybody that can beat Stafford for the MVP, I think it is Drake May. He is one of the betting favorites, and it's a narrative award, and nobody would love to see that happen more than the NFL.
Yeah, I think they have, you know, it's funny, like being someone following New England and, you know, being a fan and all that for so long. We're used to, like, you know, hatred and everyone's sick of us and they want to, you know, anything else. And now, you know, the Patriots are kind of like a little feisty pick. People are like back on the train and it's been fun. But I, you know, at this point, I would say Stafford is the MVP. You can't take away what Drake May's doing. I think we're like a year or two early, I would say.
Yeah, they're like, it's like the 0-1 Patriots again. Like, oh, everybody saw this is nice.
I love that comparison. That's a great one.
Oh, it's nice. Okay, cool. And then like, no, we're over this. All right, make it.
Well, I mean, how can you be upset? Really, we can nitpick, but 10-2. Right. I mean,
repeating my sentence. Yeah. They're back.
Yep, they're back.
I know.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Everybody, give me your Super Bowl predictions. Give me the two teams, where your audience can find you, and quickly what you're doing for Thanksgiving. Brian, we'll start with you.
Do you have to? You'll see my Super Bowl matchup in week 6. I know we got to wrap this up. You'll see my Super Bowl matchup in week 16 in Indy. Niners, Colts.
Okay.
That's who I started the season. That's who I started the season with. That's who I'm going to finish the season with. It's a prediction that could certainly go wrong given everybody else that's in front of both teams, but the heck with it. I'm doing it for sentimental reasons. You can find me youtube.com/@snowmanmultimedia and snowmanmultimedia.com. And for Thanksgiving, see this? There's going to be a few more empty bowls that had cranberry sauce and dressing and turkey and everything else. And then I'm going to fall into a coma. That's what I'm doing for Thanksgiving.
All right, Dan, what's your Super Bowl prediction?
Originally, I had the Bills, so I have to stick with the Bills. And I am changing the NFC to the Rams. I had the Eagles repeating, but the way they've been playing offensively is nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking, out of this world, dynamite, any other adjective in its place.
No, yeah. So I'm going Rams. They're just complete, like we mentioned before, the complementary offense between the running game and the passing game. With the defense, they're going to be tough to beat, especially if they're going to be in LA. If the Eagles found a way to get home field, then that changes a lot of things. But
where can our audience find you, and what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, I am just having family over, just the normal traditional Thanksgiving, nothing like crazy special that everybody's like.
Oh, awesome. Kiana, it's okay. What do you got?
So this is weird. I don't know why I feel like we're going to see a rematch of either New England versus Philly or New England versus LA. Don't ask me why. Why do I feel like we're getting one of those?
I can see both of that.
We'll put a pin in that. But I'm real Mama Eagle on everything, and I'm going to Thanksgiving. I'm going to spend it with my grandma.
Awesome. How fun.
Nice.
All right, Danielle, what you got?
I hate this one. I am gonna hedge a little bit, and I'm gonna say Rams Ravens, and that would be kind of what makes sense to me and what I would really like to see. I'm really sick of the Chiefs, so anyone but that.
In the immortal words of Paul Allen, are you kidding me?
All right, and what are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Probably watching the Lions disappoint us for the 100th year in a row. I always eat with Lions fans, and every single year, even when they're good, they kind of disappoint us. So probably that.
All right, Ryan, what do you got?
I'm doing Rams Chiefs. I know the Chiefs aren't in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs even right now, but if you're looking at those wild cards teams that include the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Jaguars, I don't trust any of those to finish out the season in a strong way.
True.
Can Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid go on a 4-5 game run to get themselves into the Super Bowl? Absolutely. And we've made the case for the Rams already, so I don't need to go into that much. But the only team I can see beating the Rams in the playoffs is the Packers. Their defense is playing phenomenally right now. Micah Parsons is on his way, and that offense is going to find its footing eventually. Yeah, I mean, he's a wild card, but sometimes those wild cards can
you're
really dial it
absolutely
in.
right. I saw it twice. Yep.
Listen, let me tell you something about the Packers. The Packers do good till they get to January. Then they run into us.
Let's run back Philly, New England. That's what I want to see.
Right.
That's my wish.
Yes.
Ryan, where can our audience find you?
Yes, RL Anderson, LAFB on Twitter or X, and LAFB Network for everything else, Ramsey LAFB on YouTube. And I will be at Tanner and Jennifer's in Pasadena. They are fantastic. I bring the party. I have a couple of things that I've introduced to them, which is the Super Happy Fun Time game and dance party after dinner.
It's really yes. I have to join in on that. All right, guys, I'm actually going Rams Broncos. I don't know why, but I am. And
you talk about a pick out of left field. There you go.
I know, right? Totally crazy. And what else? You guys all know where to find me. And I am joining a Friendsgiving, sort of like this one. But guys, thank you so much for coming on by, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. And keeping in with the Week 12 theme, here is sports comedian Frank Nicotero with his funny take on everything that happened. And I'm sure we'll hear all about the Steelers, too. Frank.
Okay, I got one for you. What did the wide receiver say to the football? Catch you later. Yeah, my jokes suck. That's why I watch the Blonde Blitz.
Frank, hello. Can I hear you?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Oh, no.
I can't hear you. Are you there? I can't hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I don't hear you. What did I do wrong?
I'm not sure.
Okay, you can hear me, though.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, I'll just talk. I can't hear you. I'll just talk. Is that good? All right. Yeah. So here's my turkey. I've been cooking because tomorrow's Courtney's birthday. So we're having Thanksgiving tonight. There's my turkey. I named him Mike Tomlin because it's the same every year and it'll be irrelevant by December, just like the Steelers. I'm so tired of watching my team lose and not making, I read this about Mike Tomlin. I didn't realize that he's made four times he's made the playoffs in 18 years. And then he's gotten bounced all the other, only 4 times has he won a game in the postseason. Sorry, I still have my gloves on. But it's been a really frustrating season. If they had Aaron Rodgers last week, would have they won that game? Yes. All week we thought he was going to be playing, and then Mason Rudolph comes in. They should have won that game. It's just been such a frustrating season to see him have a 4-game lead and still have Baltimore being the betting favorite, even when we were in first place at 4-1. So it's been really, really frustrating. I'm trying to get your volume on. I don't know what I'm doing, Deb. Did I do something wrong?
Oh, good. I'm not sure. But
I can read lips pretty well.
That's okay. I'm gonna move on to the to another thing because you can't even hear what I'm saying, right? No. All
I'm
right.
not sure what you're saying, but if you were asking me about Friday night, your Philadelphia Eagles versus the Bears, I hope the Eagles kill the Bears. The Bears have one win against a winning team. Give me a break on that team. And by the way, the Steelers didn't pass over the middle. No inside starting linebackers for the Bears and no passes over the middle. Absolute ridiculous from Arthur Smith. And also, when you were talking New York Giants possible head coach, what about the name Lane Kiffin, Jackson Dart's coach in college?
Yep.
Throwing that out there.
I agree. All right, Frank, thank you so much. We'll see you
I
soon.
love you, Deb. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk soon. I'll save some leftovers for you.
Thank you. Tell Courtney I said hi. All right, guys, I had a chance to cover the Rams' Season of Giving campaign last week. DL Jared Verse and a few of the rookies volunteered in LA, helping to put food on the table for those in need this Thanksgiving. Check it out.
Hey guys, it's Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz and New Stitch Media. I'm here in Woodland Hills, California at the West Valley Food Pantry. Today, Jared Verse, Josiah Stewart, Ty Hamilton, Jarquez Hunter, and Brennan Presley, as well as other members of the Rams organization, are donating their time to help local families put food on the table this Thanksgiving. I'm so blessed to be here and share this special day with all of you. Hey guys, I'm here with Debbie Decker. She is the CEO of the West Valley Food Pantry. She is heading up this entire event today. It's so nice to be here. Tell me a little bit about the event.
Every year for the last 4 years, the Rams have shown up with players and the front office, and they support us. They give us money to purchase all of the Thanksgiving fixings for all of our clients for the entire month. And on the day that they come, we actually get turkeys. Today we have all the players out here and they're putting turkeys in all the cars. When a family is marginalized and doesn't have enough food on the table, to come and ask for food is kind of a humbling experience, and it's not something people advertise or feel good about. They feel less than. To come and get greeted by Rampage out there, and
Rampage is giving out coffee and snacks in the parking lot.
Yeah, in the parking lot, and we have our cheerleaders out there, and so every car that's driving in here is getting greeted with hot chocolate and donuts. It's spreading the love. I mean, suddenly coming here is not so onerous. Asking for food is not so bad, and you're made to feel special, and you're made to feel loved and cared about, and I can't think of anything better than that.
I think it was just a big thing that had to be done. Like, I came last year with the, with my rookie class. To come back with this rookie class, it's a good feeling. Be out here, be able to fill up the cars, show people like life can be fun. Even when it's hard sometimes. I've seen the news of how hard the economy is, how hard it is to be able to put food on the table for your families. Obviously, me and the other guys here have been very blessed with our lives. So to be able to come back and just try to make this thing a little bit easier, like with or without us, the food pantry would be fine in doing all this. But just to be able to come back and try to put up a little bit more of it, make it a little bit bigger, make it a little bit more not more meaningful, but more like impactful on our end.
All right, guys. Next, our very own Chef V puts a healthy twist on traditional Thanksgiving Day food that she makes for her NFL clients. Take a look.
I used to make peanut butter and jelly for football. Then I watched the Blonde Blitz, and now my game day food is on a whole new level.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Chef V again, and I'm here to break down some Friendsgiving swaps for you today. Because I gotta be honest with you guys, I'm not a huge fan of Thanksgiving food, so here I am to show you some adjustments you can make, whether you're going to a full-on Thanksgiving spread or you're just celebrating football and food with some homies. So I want to start out with a mashed potato workaround, because honestly, that's probably the only great thing on the Thanksgiving spread. But today, I want to show you guys parsnip puree. It is creamy, it's velvety, it is full of fiber, and the cool thing about parsnips is they actually are lower on the glycemic index, and topped with my cranberry sweet chili sauce. This dish is absolutely stunning and in Blonde Blitz full colors. And actually, I also wanted to offer something. Have you guys ever played with finger limes? These little guys are so fun. They are known as the citrus caviar. If you wanted to get real fancy with it, look at that. Cool little garnish. But the real MVP today is my take on a little mocktail, a remix of the Arnold Palmer. And here I'm actually using a chaga iced tea that I made. And if you don't know, chaga is the king of mushrooms. This is what they actually look like. You just throw some in a crock pot with some water, a couple hours, and boom, you have some chaga iced tea. So chaga is full of antioxidants, adaptogens, which help both you and your athlete adjust to stress and anxiety. I just made a little bit of homemade lemonade, and the kick here is just a splash of apple cider vinegar, which is going to be also your aid in helping break down those sugars pre-meal. And if you absolutely had to spike it, of course you could always add a little shot of Dos Cuervos tequila. You know I'm never going to say no to that. Yum. So whether you are fasting, feasting, or swapping out, there's always an alternative. And I wanted to share with you guys that when I cooked for my rock stars, I always tapped into the energetics of food. So for example, root vegetables to stay grounded, wild meat like elk for speed and agility, or sprouts for that vibrancy and zing. So if you want to talk more about the energetics of food, fun swaps, blood sugar regulation, find me over on Instagram and we'll take it from there. Happy Thanksgiving and go Blonde Blitz!
Thanks so much, Chevy. Don't think I didn't hear that reference to Roderick Walker, former NFL. It's his tequila, so everyone go check that out as well. All right, shall we get into Week 13 games? Let's go. Please welcome third-generation sports betting expert Alex White to give you your best bet for Week 13.
It's time to get some NFL betting advice from Alex White and the Blonde Blitz. Win big so I can rob you later.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Alex White here from Sports by the Book. I'm very thankful to be a part of this wonderful crew here with the Blonde Blitz. I saw in the rundown everybody giving Super Bowl predictions, so I wanted to play along too. You can see it's been a massive shift in how important the defense really is again. I'm going Denver Broncos and Seattle Seahawks. I think Bo Nix and Sam Darnold are going to come along nicely throughout the rest of the season. Maybe they could end up facing each other. All right, let's go to this week's plays, though. Thanksgiving play for you, courtesy of Action Network. Road favorites are 25-1 straight up, and they are 20-6 against the spread since 2004. I love the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs already in this spot. Deb, you'll appreciate this. Going up against the Cowboys, who are a little bit fraudulent right now. They've won 2 in a row. They beat the Raiders and then came back from a 21-0 deficit. I don't think they're going to have that opportunity against this defense and the Chiefs. Really, I think the Eagles just got a little complacent in that game as well. I don't think it's going to happen in back-to-back games here. Chiefs got a big win over the Colts. They want to keep it rolling here. So Chiefs -3. That is my best bet for the week. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll check in again next week. Everybody enjoy your wonderful weekend with your family.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Happy Thanksgiving. And of course, we cannot talk sports betting without talking fantasy, right? Here's fantasy expert Ballers Meg with her advice for Week 13.
When I'm looking for fantasy advice, I listen to Meg from TSS Fantasy.
Hi guys, welcome back to the fantasy section of the Blonde Blitz podcast with me, Ballers Meg. I'm going to give you some top tips for your fantasy football teams this week and hopefully get you some points. So starting off at QB, I am taking Sam Darnold over at the Seahawks. Now they play the Vikings this week and that is a revenge game for Darnold. I am so excited to see what happens there. I would love to see him ball out because the Vikings did him so dirty last season. Next up, we've got Lad McConkey at the Chargers. He is playing the Raiders this week, and let's be honest, anybody against the Raiders this season are doing well. So Lad McConkey, who I have not really rated for the last few weeks, I've got some high hopes for him this weekend. Finally, I am going with a home pick. I'm picking up Darnell Mooney. Again, not someone I've picked up in a few weeks. However, we are playing the Jets. And even with Kirk Cousins under centre, I'm saying that Darnell Mooney is going to put some points on that damn board. So definitely have a look at Darnell Mooney this week. Put him in. I think this is his week. He needs a redemption arc for the season. You can follow me at Ballers_Meg across all social media platforms, and check out TSS Fantasy on a Sunday morning for you guys, where you can watch us for all the hints, tips and tricks that you need about fantasy football. See you next week, guys, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Make my wish come true.
All right, thank you so much, Meg. Next, Intuitive Reader 333 asks, Carrie is using her power deck to predict the Eagles versus Bears game this week. Carrie, what do you have for us this Thanksgiving?
Let's see what the power deck cards say about these NFL team futures.
333 Ask Carrie here, ready to give you Week 13 predictions with the Bears versus Eagles game, and I will be using the power deck to make those predictions. So guys, really interesting energy here because we have two teams, both leaders in their division and also both at an 8-3 record. So, you know, they're in it to win it. We have some really good competition in this game. And because of this one particular astrological transit, this game actually might go into overtime. And I'm talking about the Mars versus Capricorn energy. Now, the one notable player that is a Capricorn is DeAndre Swift. So watch out for some, you know, maybe key plays from him. Also for the fact that we have Jupiter in Aquarius, which is kind of a little quirky. It has like this energy of like surprises or upsets, and that also includes the underdog winning. But who's the underdog in this? Because at the end of the day, they're both playing with a lot of fire and a lot of intention because it has a lot of grounding energy. So there'll be some big defensive plays in this as well. Maybe a few interceptions, like ooh-ah moments, and you know, pretty exciting. So let's get into the cards. All right, so for the Bears, I have the King of Diamonds, the Two of Hearts, and the 10 of Diamonds. Okay, and then I also have the 6 of Hearts. I really feel like the actual Bears team really is going to start off with, you know, some really good energy. I feel like their vibe is high. It has some notable career type of moments to it with the 10 of Diamonds. But let's see what the Eagles have. They have the Jack of Clubs, which they're just, you know, they're really fighting for that money. They're really wanting to be shown that they can make it happen. They have the Jack of Spades, which also means strategy. You know, the team is going to come up with some really interesting plays. The coach will, at least. And then the 10 of Pentacles as one of the outcome cards, which is the most money-making card. And then we get the Ace of Spades, which is the highest card in the deck, which means that I have the Eagles winning it out. And as far as like final score, I have the Eagles 27, and then I have the Bears at 24. Guys, I hope everyone's going to have a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks so much, Deb. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Happy Thanksgiving. And I'm going to hold you to that score. You know I will, right? All right, guys. Ben Troupe, unfortunately, had a family emergency this evening, but Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy is here to help me with Week 13 game picks. Commissioner Cooper, where are you at?
Bring in Deb and Troupe so we can get our NFL picks.
Hello, Commissioner. How are you? I think you're on mute. I'm not sure why nobody can talk today. Maybe it's the
My bad.
Thanksgiving vibe. Everyone has other things on their mind.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we're saying prayers for Ben this evening. Hopefully everything is okay.
Of course, absolutely. My co-host, normal co-host on Nobody's in a Fall, unfortunately had some family things to deal with, so I'm stepping in his place. I ain't got a problem with that at all. Before we get to our picks, by the way, I do have a bit of an appetizer, a spinach dip, I guess, if you will. I brought in my ultimate DFS lineup for Thanksgiving. So if you want to play Thanksgiving fantasy and just on those 3 games, go to Underdog Fantasy, use the promo code BLONDE. We'll double that deposit up to $100. And you can try this lineup, if you will. Got my Indian gear on myself. I'm going to go ahead and throw in Mr. Joe Burrow, who's making his almost season debut at this point, playing against the Ravens. They've stepped up as of late in the secondary, but still 16th against fantasy QBs. And you got to expect they're going to want to feed Joe Burrow in this matchup and let him get loose. So I'm excited for that. I paid up for my running backs, as you can see. Derrick Henry, of course, it's getting that time of the season for Derrick Henry. And they're playing the Bengals, who are the absolute worst, 32nd against fantasy running backs. So good play there. Jahmyr Gibbs playing against the Packers. It's a tougher matchup, but how can you not put Jahmyr Gibbs in after what he did last week? I went with Oshivas. Say that 3 times fast. With no T. Higgins, Oshibas sees a lot of targets, and especially in the red zone, crazy enough. And then I doubled down and went Jamar Chase. Like I said, I believe in Joe Burrow having a big game. Paid up for him as well. Xavier Worthy is a slick little play in the Dallas matchup. Don't forget, Dallas still is 31st against fantasy receivers. So him or Rashee Rice is going to be a good play. Kareem Hunt, also, again, Dallas's defense still not all that great against the run. They're still 25th against running backs. Mark Andrews is a good play against the Bengals, who are 32nd. And I went with the Bengals D because, quite frankly, I ran out of money. And in daily fantasy, just as a heads up to everyone, you don't get a lot of points with defenses. So who cares? So there you go.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Defense, I'm always like, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't. I mean, you play your good matchups, but, and especially in daily fantasy, it depends on leagues, but daily fantasy doesn't really give you a lot of points for defense, so who cares?
Yep, absolutely. All right, well, let's move on to the games. We start off with Packers versus Lions, Thanksgiving at 1 p.m. Who you got and why?
So, man, what a tough game. At first when I saw the Thanksgiving, I was looking at the whole NFL. I was like, oh, man, I wasn't really into Thanksgiving games. And all of a sudden it just started dawning on me like, oh, my God, the Lions are really good and Packers pretty decent themselves. So I'm going to go Detroit, though, here. I believe in this particular matchup. Detroit really is looking to, they kind of struggled last week with the Giants. I think they're going to take a little bit of a foothold now. Jordan Love does step up in bigger games. You do see him play better, but this offense just still isn't there for me. And with Josh Jacobs still a little banged up, I'm going to go with the home team, and finally Detroit's going to get a win on Thanksgiving.
I agree with you. Historical record, Packers are 105-78-7 against the Lions all time. The Lions are 12-9-1 against the Packers on Thanksgiving, and the Lions have won 6 of the past 8 meetings, and they're going to win again, I feel like. So this game, I have a ton of little stats today. I had some fun with this. This game marks the 23rd time the Packers and Lions have played each other on Thanksgiving, making it the most frequent Thanksgiving matchup between any 2 NFL teams.
Nice.
And interesting enough, the Lions have played on Thanksgiving every year since 1934, with the exception of 1939 to 1944 due to World War II. Wow. Isn't that it's a crazy stat? Anyway,
that is crazy.
Back to now. The Lions are 7-4. Green Bay is 7-3. This is going to be a really, really close game. I love me some Love. We all know this, but you're right. The offense just is not clicking as much as it should. I love me some Aiden Hutchinson more. So I'm going to go Lions. They are favored by 2.5, and that's my pick. Let's move on to another Thanksgiving game, Chiefs versus Cowboys. And I have to ask a question. Why is it the Cowboys that always play on Thanksgiving? Like, why? Why are they special?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember looking this up before. It's one I apologize. I wish I would have been ready for this answer and looked real smart. But there was something that happened, and then NFL just basically made it like, all right, so the set games are always Detroit and the Cowboys. And what I remember back in the night, I always felt like it was the Commanders and Cowboys. That really should have been, well, the Redskins back then. That really should have been like the Packers Lions, should have been something that the NFL kept doing more, because that rivalry was still always fun. But yeah, I'm not sure why the Cowboys, America's team, maybe that's why.
Right. I mean, but really, I mean, they haven't won in forever. Anyway. All right, let's talk about this game. What do you have and why?
So, I mean, this is a toughie because, listen, Dallas can put up points. And the Chiefs have, they've been hit. Now they were cold, and then they were hot, and then they're starting to feel like they're getting cold again. But I still got to go with the Chiefs. I mean, I just feel like their defense is better than the Cowboys, and I think that's the real difference in the matchup, where you won't see the stops that maybe you saw last week against the Chiefs. I think they're going to see a lot of success. Travis Kelce is going to get a couple TDs. I mean, it's going to be that type of game, I think. I think the Cowboys will make it interesting because they do have a decent offense, but I still think the Chiefs will cover and win this game.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. First of all, the all-time record is 7-5 in favor of the Cowboys. The last matchup between the Chiefs and the Cowboys was actually November 21st in 2021. I feel like they play more than that, but okay, the Chiefs won it 19-9. Right now, the Chiefs are 6-5. The Cowboys are 5-5. I feel like Dallas got lucky winning against the Eagles. Maybe I'm biased. Probably unbiased, but no. I feel like they won't win 2 in a row. The Chiefs comeback win last week. Mahomes is starting to do Mahomes things. This is the part of the season that this starts happening, and it's happening. I feel like this is a must-win scenario for KC, right? I think it is. If they would have lost last week, it would have been doomsday, but they didn't. They are just scraping by this season, but Kansas City kind of does it. But I think this is around the time they start to get really hot, and I think that is what is happening. Kansas City is 3-point favorites. I'm going Kansas City as well.
And I think to your point real quick, that is why we're going to see an entertaining game, because this is a must win for both teams. So we'll see at least them going all out, and it'll be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Another one that might be fun, Vikings versus Seahawks, although I think the Seahawks are going to dominate. Sunday at 4 p.m. What do you got and why?
Yeah, it's definitely Seattle, and by a lot. The fact is JJ McCarthy was already struggling, now dealing with injury. So might be throwing out an undrafted rookie against the Seattle defense. Not going to work out well for them, to be quite frank. And Meg actually brought up a great point, which I wasn't even thinking about, it being a revenge game for Sam Darnold. So you already got a fired up defense. You got a fired up defense to get a weak offense, and now you got Sam Darnold. Man, yeah, it's going to be big Seattle on this one.
Yeah, I think they did Darnold really dirty. I would have picked Sam over JJ McCarthy any day. I knew he was going to kill it with the Seahawks, and I'm very excited that is actually happening. And Alex White actually picked the Seahawks to go to the Super Bowl, so we'll see if that happens. I mean, that would be a little wild, but you never know. As far as this game, the all-time record is 13-7 in favor of the Seahawks. Right now, Vikings are 4-7. Seahawks are 8-3. Honestly, I feel like the Vikings offense is just bad.
It is. It's actually 30th in the league right now.
Yeah, they're just bad. And the Seahawks are just good, So Seahawks are favored by 11.5. They're going to dominate this game. All right, let's move on to one more game here. We've got Bills versus Steelers Sunday at 4:25. What do you got and why?
Wow. Yeah. So I think you'll see a big Bills win here, because I thought I was going to see that last week, to be quite frank. I was surprised the way they played. So I feel like this particular game.
8 sacks. How did that happen?
Right.
Sacked 8 times.
Right, and that was the question I was talking about amongst my friends. I'm like, is this more about the Bills offense or just Houston's defense? And every one of them said the same thing. It's Houston's defense. Houston's defense is legit. And they found a great way to get at Josh Allen. There is no way Pittsburgh is going to repeat that. They are dead last against receivers in this league. I see Josh Allen having a big day, Khalil Shakir, even Keon Coleman, who can't seem to get on the field for whatever off-field stuff he's doing. I think you'll see a big game out of a lot of pass catchers from the Bills, and I think the Bills actually win pretty big in this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. So the Bills right now are 7-4. The Steelers are 6-5. I did some fun facts about this one because it's Thanksgiving. Why the hell not? So Bills coach Sean McDermott and Steelers coach Mike Tomlin were teammates at William and Mary. Both teams have had 10 different players catch a touchdown pass this season. What else? I think, TJ Watt and the Steelers defense are definitely licking their chops after Josh Allen was sacked 8 times last week. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it.
Yeah. I'm sure they're licking their chops, but they're going to go hungry. So
yeah, exactly. And the Bills definitely look off, but I'm not picking a 40-year-old quarterback over Josh Allen. Just not happening. I think this is I think the Bills turn it around this game, and I think it's going to be pretty big. The Bills are 4-point favorites, so let's go with that one.
I'm with it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to our Friendsgiving Thanksgiving Day show. Today's show was sponsored by Wish LBI and Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code BLONDE, and we will double your deposit up to $100. So if you like tonight's show, please subscribe, and you can also follow us on all socials at The Blonde Blitz. Jason, anything before we say bye?
No, I'm just doing a non-traditional Thanksgiving since we did Canadian Thanksgiving, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, whenever that was. And then her family came, some family members came last weekend, and we did a Thanksgiving then. So we're all turkeyed out. So we're doing prime rib and crab legs tomorrow for our Thanksgiving and watching football. Let's do this.
Awesome. I will be watching football too. I'm actually going to go bake right now. I'm a huge baker, so I'm going to go make some muffins and some apple pies. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Go Birds. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Let's see what the Power Deck cards